What's up? What's up? What's up, chat? How we doing? Look at
Sorry, I'm
all of
gonna
these
raid in here
people.
in a second.
Are you're rating in?
Yes.
Love it.
Let's see. I'll give it just a second. Hi,
Yeah, give it
friend.
a second. Let your people come into your show, and then we'll go there. I'll tell you what. In the meantime, while Brooke is doing that, we'll put up a giveaway. Chat. We got more of these apothecary socks, whatnot socks. These are seriously fire. So here we go. I'm gonna run a couple of those today. Actually wearing a pair right now, and they're legit the most comfortable socks I have. Oh, shout out to Avery with the raid.
Yay!
Legend. What's up, Avery?
All right, guys, I'm gonna pull this in raid. Let's go. Hold on. Let's
I
see.
think, by the way, Brooke, I think you're the first person to ever be a guest and raid into your own show. I
Oh my
love it.
goodness. I think I got a few people in. Let's see. Okay, guys, we're gonna raid. Let's see.
Homeschool Mama, thank you for the raid.
There we go. Yay! Okay, I got a few.
Look at that. Look at that. You're like a marketing genius.
Oh my goodness! No, welcome in, guys.
She is a genius. I know. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Hello. I would call you all out, but in the chat, but you're just funneling in so quickly. Charmed, I see you. Moderated you. Is that how you say it? Modded you, not moderated you. Yeah, I think we can get started here in a couple of minutes. Brooke, how we feeling? How you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's been super busy, but everything's starting to chill out as we get closer to Christmas. So it's been good.
Good. Busy in a good way, I'm hoping.
Yeah, for sure.
Love it. Love to see it. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Where's everybody joining us from today? We've got about close to 200 people here. Let's see where y'all are from. I got hello in France. I'd love to see it. Cali, Texas, Florida, PA, a lot of Cali, North Carolina, a couple of those too. Hope y'all are doing good after that crazy storm you had out there. Hawaii, like to see that. UK, shout out to the UK. NC, Haiti, love it, awesome. All right, Brooke, I think we got a good critical mass. Why don't we kick it off? So welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Kenny, and I am a communications manager here at Whatnot, specifically focused on community. And so part of my job is to do these live streams here on Whatnot on the Whatnotsellers account. So if you don't follow this account, go ahead and follow it. We do a lot of cool programming here, like where we bring in sellers, we talk to them. We'll bring in people from Whatnot, like product managers, talk about new updates and features. It's kind of a fun channel if you're really if you want to, dig in a little bit deeper on community, then highly recommend this channel. Today we're sitting down with, I don't think she needs an introduction, but this is Brooke from Shop801lane. If you spent any amount of time on Whatnot, you've probably come across her shows. Brooke has been selling on Whatnot for quite some time, but I'll let her introduce herself. What we're going to do today is just kind of talk to Brooke. I'm going to ask her a series of questions just about her experience on Whatnot and what it's been like. Maybe y'all can pick up some tips and tricks. If you have any questions for Brooke, please drop them in the chat. And we've got Kiyomi modding on the back end, and she's going to kind of grab those questions, and we'll answer as many as we can towards the end of the live stream. So again, if you've got a question for Brooke, drop it in the chat. We'll try to get her as many as we can towards the end. If you've got any other feedback not related to Brooke, go ahead and drop that in the chat too. You're welcome to. And we always kind of download this transcript and go through it and pull out any kind of feedback and things that can help make everything better for you all. So with that, I'm gonna let Brooke introduce herself. So Brooke, if you could just maybe give us like a really high level about you, maybe like a bio, and then we'll dig into some specific questions.
Hi, I'm Brooke. I am known as Shop801lane. I've been selling on here since July of 2022. I think the 14th was my first show. And I just wanted to dabble into it, and then it ended up turning into a full-time job, and it's been, a wild journey since then, but it's been a lot of fun, and I'm grateful for it.
Love it. I guess let's go back to the beginning. Like, what made you get started in selling on Whatnot? Were you a reseller elsewhere? Did you have reselling experience? I guess that would be my first question. Kind of what got you started here?
I've been reselling part-time since like 2013, and I was starting my TikTok social media really well, and got to know the reseller community on there. And all of a sudden I saw in like spring of 2022 a bunch of them posting about Whatnot, and it got me curious. I said I would never think I would live sell, but they made it sound really exciting and they all had really good experiences, so kind of followed them over from TikTok, and that's where I found Whatnot.
Incredible. And so the app was pretty new at the time. You were new at the time. Congrats to the giveaway winner, Pickles. Pixel, that's a long username. I'm just gonna say Pickles. Congrats. Did you see success right away, or what were early days like for you as a seller on Whatnot?
I think what really got me into it is it was successful right off the bat. My crowd was a lot smaller, but even with 10 or 11 people in the room, it was a lot of fun, and I could still have a sellout show. And that's where I really got comfortable with going live, was the smaller crowd, and then it just eventually grew over time.
Love that. I think that's pretty common, right? Like when you start, you grow your following here. I mean, I think there are the influencer types who come on who come with a large following, but that's not the norm. I think that's the exception. Like that's not the majority of sellers. Most come here, and that was my experience too, Brooke, for what it's worth. I'm not a big seller like you, but when I joined, I think my first live, I might have had 2 or 3 people in there. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to sell anything here. And then the next live, I had a little more, and the next live. And I think that goes back to like just consistency and building that following at a very like foundational level.
Oh yeah.
Let's maybe pivot there, because I think that's a really important, especially if you're a new seller here, chat, and you're joining us, and maybe you went live a few times, and you didn't have the numbers that Brooke has, or the numbers that we have here in this account, like 214 people. That's not what happens off the jump, and I think it's really important to like acknowledge that. That's cool, that's normal. Like, yeah, like I like to say it's a slow burn as opposed to like a flash in the pan. Like I always tell folks, like Whatnot isn't kind of a get rich like scheme. Like it's just like any other business. You got to build it with a strong foundation, and you got to kind of stick to it. And so, Brooke, what are your thoughts on that? I mean, do you agree? Has that been your experience?
Oh, absolutely. I think giveaways are fun and all, but the authentic audience that's going to keep showing up every show, no matter what you're giving away or doing, uh, that's the most important thing on here, and it's my favorite part about being on here. And it sounds cheesy, but the community is when you build that in your shows, that's what makes this job the most fun. So I think really not rushing to grow that audience. Let the people who really enjoy your shows find you, and they'll keep showing up every day, and that's what's most important.
And then it's so cool because the people who start to join your shows are actually the right people for you. Like they've gravitated to you naturally. They like you. Like they followed you because they like. And then what you're left with is like a group of people who truly enjoy like whatever you're selling, or your personality, or both. And I find that that's been my experience. Been selling now like for just over 2 years, and now when I go live with my nephew, like all our, like, I feel like our friends join right away. Like I've got a guy in the UK who hasn't missed a show, I think, since day one. And he'll text me and he's like, are you still planning on going live today? Like we become like friends we've never met, and it's just like a huge supporter. I don't know why, but it's so cool. And I'm sure you got those too.
Yeah, it feels like you're hanging out with your friends every night. I feel like that's the point it gets to. If you really dive into it and do it full time, it will feel like you're hanging out every night, and that's the best feeling.
I love that. And I was going to reiterate that because I think that's profound what you just said. You go, it gets to a point where it feels like you're hanging out with your friends every night if you keep showing up and build those, build that following. And to build that following, again, I can't think of any shortcuts. It's just, what would you say, Brooke? Just keep showing up, consistency, that sort of thing.
Oh yeah, it's being consistent. It's just, and if you can go live around a similar time every day, people will just jump on the app and expect to see you there. And I think going live 5 or 6 times a week around the same time has really helped build that. They just know, Brooke will probably be on later that night.
So yeah, and please follow Shop 801 Lane to become best friends with her. I think everybody wants to be. I'll share something. I wasn't going to share it live because I was a little bit embarrassed, but I'm going to go ahead and share it because there's something about Brooke's voice which to me is so calming, and I'll share like a personal story. I was in bed one night, I couldn't sleep, I was like kind of tossing and turning, I don't know what was going on with me, and naturally I open up Whatnot because that's what I do. And Brooke was on my For You page, and I tuned into her show, and it like put me into like the most relaxed, like her show to me is it's a very relaxing kind of show. Her voice is incredibly soothing. I think I see other people in the chat are agreeing with me, so it's not that I'm crazy. I mean, maybe I am, but so are you. And it's just, yeah, it's a very, very cool vibe. A lot of sellers, you jump in and it's like in your face and blah, 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 like, let's go chat. And it's like intense. And then you kind of go into a Shop801 Lane show and it's kind of like, oh, what is this peaceful, tranquil show? Like, and I love that. I love that about your shows, Brooke. And honestly, like, I don't think I've ever made a purchase for you, but I come for the therapy.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the support either way.
I love it. Yeah, everyone's like agreeing with me. It's so cool. So cool. Okay, what did you struggle? Let's turn from like this, success. Like what were some of the struggles or challenges, maybe that's a better way of saying it, that you encountered kind of like in your early days on Whatnot?
I think I think the hardest thing, and everybody knows this about me who's been, is I had a really hard time adjusting to, I needed to sell volume to keep up and make it a full-time job. And so I think shipping was really hard to adjust to, and it took a long time to finally figure it out, but I did. But that definitely, switching from selling a few orders a day on a separate marketplace to, hundreds a week is a big shift, but, it's been a lot of fun and I figured it out over time. It just definitely was stressful back then.
Interesting. Maybe we can chat about that a little bit later. Just kind of like how did you streamline, and maybe how did you build efficiencies into your post-show processes and stuff like that? Because you're still like a one-person thing, right? Like you don't have so we'll get into that. I'm really interested because you've grown a very big business and you're just one person, and I also know you've got other responsibilities, right? Three kids.
Yes.
Right. And like they're at ages where they require like a lot of hands-on. So I don't know how in the world you do it, but maybe we'll get to that. Okay, let's talk about your live strategy. I know one thing that you do, which is very unique, and I think it's actually very, very smart, is you'll go live on, you'll do shows that are not like sales shows. Like they'll be you, like the other night I saw you cooking up some quesadillas. I think last night you were like selling some like old text, like very like almost like podcasty shows where it's obvious to me that your number one priority is not to just move a bunch of inventory. It's more to like connect with your following and maybe show them a side of you that they otherwise wouldn't see if they were just tuning into like your sales shows. So I think that's incredibly unique. I think it's really, really smart because gives people kind of like a behind the scenes look at a seller, and I think that's really fun and interesting, and they get to know you, and I think that builds even more loyalty. So talk to me about that. I know that's part of your strategy. What is that about?
It's the shows where I really get to know everybody in my audience, and I'm very honest with it. When I have to do my shows, like when I get a new palette and it's just sell, I almost, dread those shows because I know it's how I make my most profit on here, but I don't get to connect with the audience, constantly. And so to be in like a relaxed setting where I feel more at home and to chat and get to know people, it's a whole different feeling, and it's what I actually enjoy most about the job. And it's where you get more of the hangout feeling. So they might not be the most profitable, but it's definitely where I've grown the most connection with my audience in those shows, and they're a lot of fun.
And do you feel that the connections that you've kind of strengthened and grown through those community shows come back and pay like dividends in your sales shows? Like, do you feel like it's kind of like this flywheel where maybe people discover you in the community show, they really like you, then they end up coming to your sales shows, buy stuff, and it's just kind of like some sort of like process that works for you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll a lot of the times I'll ask, where did you guys find me from? And they'll say, oh, we joined when, like you said, when you were cooking a quesadilla, or, and so I think that instant impression is really important, and it makes you memorable in a different way. So I also think that's very helpful.
That's so cool. And yeah, I mean, we talk a lot about building community here on this channel, and I think Brooke just gave us all kind of, you know, incredibly helpful insight there on hey, like if you're a seller and whatnot, like there's the shows where you make money and you sell stuff, and like that's your objective. But there's also, you can also go live, run a couple giveaways, maybe like uh, put things in the bin, right? Like that people can pick up, but also just hang with your audience, and it's much less like stressful for everyone, really, because no one's really trying to get the deal, and like also like this, the seller gets to kind of just give you a glimpse into their life and
Did
into
it
who they are.
freeze?
And oh yeah,
I
you
think it
froze, Brooke,
froze.
a little
Okay.
bit. Yeah,
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'll try to fix it really fast. Give me one
sure.
sec.
While
Let's
Brooke does
see.
that, I'm gonna give another pair of socks here. Oh, I think Brooke left, so it messed up, but that's all right. We'll be all right. Here you go, chat. You get yourself some Apothecary collab whatnot socks. Super comfortable, chat. Trying to get them in the frame here. Our OBS. Let's see. Just a second, chat. She will be back. Collab. What up, chat? Yeah, they are very, very good socks, honestly. I'm wearing a pair right now. You're good, Brooke. No sweat. Yeah, I'm wearing a pair right now, and they're super comfortable, especially right in time for winter. Yeah, comfy. What up, Rosie? What up, chat? Mrs. Pura Vida, good to see you. Leslie.
Okay, sorry. Hopefully that works now.
Yeah, there she is. Sweet. It's just that now I'm Brooke and you're Kenny, but I'm cool with that.
Oh.
No, it's fine. Bug, if you're here and you want to swap us, that'd be cool, but no biggie. I think people can figure it out.
My tech isn't as good as Bug, so I definitely have tech issues most shows.
Okay, it's all good. Oh, there he goes. Shout out to you, Bug, legend. Okay, so we talked about what we were saying. We're talking about the fact that like there is an argument to be made about the value of hosting community shows, giving your audience a peek into a different what would you say, a different side of you, right? Like that's not just like this selling business, like just a more personal, deeper, behind the scenes kind of thing. I think it's genius. Brooke does it really well. If you're interested, just join some of her late night shows. I think she do it pretty frequently, which brings me to my next question. So like, what is your like strategy with how often do you go live, and how has that changed over time?
This kind of ties in with the shipping. So when I first started, I actually did 2 shows a week, and everyone knew it was Sunday nights and Thursdays. And then I had the whole rest of the week to source and ship, but I sold 300 to 400 items in those shows. And so I started to realize that was too much overload to get it out within the 2 days. And so somebody suggested when I started having issues with shipping that I do shorter shows. And so I said, with the community style shows I do anyways, I could do more shows frequently, and sell a little bit less stuff. And it's been a lot more manageable that way. And so now I go live 5 or 6 nights a week, depending on the week, and then just have shorter shows and don't sell as much.
Awesome. And then how do you prepare your inventory before a show? Is it like, do you know exactly what you want to try to sell? Like I'm talking about the shows where you're selling, right? Where you get inventory. Do you set it up beforehand? Do you have a strategy around that? Or is it more just like picking things out of a pallet or a bale and then just running it? Like, how does that work for you?
Yeah, I do mostly random shows, but when I do list stuff ahead of time, I think it's really important to list, your top items in the auction place so people can see what you have to offer. And so usually I'll do a mix. So I'll list 20 to 25 items that are the best items of the show. And then I'll have random pulls after that just to kind of give people an idea what I'm selling. But it's definitely not always, best case scenario like that. Sometimes I don't have time with my busy mom schedule, so I'll end up just doing all random polls. But if I can list, I try to because it helps with the search keywords.
Okay, let's talk about your busy mom schedule. I don't know how you manage it all. Without getting into too much, like you're a full-time reseller and whatnot. You also have a fairly successful YouTube channel that you kind of share your reselling journey on, right? So yeah, let's plug that now, chat. If you want to follow Brooke on YouTube, Brooke, how do they find you there? Is it
It's
Shop 801 Lane?
Shop801lane. Same on there.
Shop 801 Lane on YouTube, Shop 801 Lane on Whatnot. Follow Brooke. How do you do it all? Like how do you run a full-time business? I mean, you're quite a big seller at this point, and also balance, 3 children who require a lot of mommying. And so, any tips and tricks for people who are trying to also,
Yeah,
be
I
really
think
successful and whatnot while also having serious other responsibilities?
yeah, whether you are a single parent or not, you have, kids are a lot and they are a full-time job regardless. Um, but I really think it's important to have that time with them during the day to hang out. And so that's why I became the night crew person, because I have to go on when they go to sleep. And so they usually go to bed pretty, early in the evening so I can start. But that's what being a mom comes first, and then work starts after they go to bed. And so I'll usually stay up pretty late and stream, and then I'll ship after I drop them off to school, and that's usually my schedule.
Do you sleep?
Yeah, I get a few hours of sleep. If you're a mom or a parent, you adjust to the less sleep schedule, and that's just how it is when they're younger.
Yeah, you're definitely a superwoman. That's wild. I don't have kids, and I I go live once a month, and it's like a big deal. Oh my gosh. Yeah, don't know how you do it. So kudos to you for really also, like, I think it's very empowering, right? We have other women here in the chat. I saw a couple of comments that are like, yeah, I'm a mom of 2. Like, how do you do that? So thank you for showing us all that it is possible. And shout out to you for doing it. It's pretty incredible. We touched on this a little bit. How do you market yourself on Whatnot and off of Whatnot? So let's talk about on Whatnot. Like, how do you do that? Do you have any tricks and tips?
I think I go and support friend shows, and oh my goodness, it froze again, huh?
Yeah.
I
Is it
might
your
need to
internet?
put it might be. Give me a second. I'm so sorry.
You're good. You're good. I mean, we can hear you. Do you need to restart it?
Yeah, I'll restart it really quickly.
No problem. Go for it. All right, chat. Again, if you want to drop questions for Brooke in the chat, go ahead and write them, and we'll get to as many as we can later in the show. I've just got a couple, maybe a handful more questions that I want to ask her that I've written down, but then after that, we're going to do questions from the chat. So here's one from Posh Pim. What's your favorite part of Whatnot? Let me grab that. We can try to address it later. Oh, that was quick.
So sorry. I don't know what the tech issues are.
You're good. It happens to all of us all the time. So hold on, just kind of capturing this question here. Oh, yeah, you were saying how you market yourself on Whatnot. So you said you go to a lot of friends' streams?
Yeah, so I go to my friends' streams, but actually I get that building I think there's 2 ways to go about it. I think you can build your audience on Whatnot, but I actually went the route I think going live every day is enough marketing in itself. And so my biggest focus when I first started, especially because I had a strict schedule of posting on social media 3 times a day when I first started, and that really helped build and bringing people from that are specifically your niche that follow you on social media, I think is also a really strong core audience. And so I think I've definitely grown, a Whatnot audience that came originally from there, but I've also brought a lot of people from social media platforms too.
So I'd love to double click, like, which social media platforms did you post 3 times a day to? And did you have those accounts before you started selling on Whatnot?
I had just started them right before I started on Whatnot. It was mainly, I used to do short form content. Now I'm trying to do more long form, which is a minute or longer videos. But I used to post on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Facebook Reels 3 times a day. And that was my goal. And then I started up an Instagram when I got Whatnot again, and I've added that too. Now I don't post as frequently, but it definitely helped build in the beginning when I was growing my business.
I love that. Chat, that's really good advice there. And what sort of content did you find really resonated? Is there some type of content or format that you would say like really, really helped bring people over to Whatnot for you?
Um, Talking about the experience, but behind the scenes work, inspiring other people, also showing. I think the most traction I got was from videos when I would do pallet haul videos, and so I'd get a liquidation pallet, and I would just video myself showing, all the random things I found in there, and that would, bring over people who wanted to shop and watch that type of experience.
I love it. Pearls of wisdom, chat. Pearls of wisdom. Okay, are there any Whatnot features that you use regularly?
I really like the new flash sales feature, but I just started using that.
Oh, I love it. Let's talk
Um,
about it. First of all,
yeah.
chat, it's brand new. So if you don't know about it, maybe we'll have, let's see. Can you explain to the chat what that is, Brooke?
I probably won't do it very well but it's technically a buy it now deal, and so your original buy it now listings can now be a flash sale, so you can drop those prices, and it puts like an alert on the screen when you pin it, and I think it makes it more exciting to purchase when you have a limited time deal on it. I don't know if that's a good way to explain it, but I've been having a lot of fun with it.
I think it's an excellent way to explain it. Yeah. I mean, you nailed it, right? It's basically, yeah, you said it right. And it's a buy it now feature that we're currently rolling out. I think we've got it in beta now. Maybe it's fully rolled out. Don't quote me, chat, but it's coming. And then what it is like, say you have quantity, say I have 100 pairs of these socks, right? So I have a good quantity of them. I got into them for a very good deal, right? And usually I run them for say $10 a pair, right? And I realized, well, they've been sitting around. I really want to move these. I really want to move them quick. So what I can do is run any quantity I have, and I could say like the original price, and I can either take a percentage off, so say like 50% off and run them at $5, or like a fixed amount off. I decide that. And then also there's a timer element, which creates this really fun kind of like FOMO, right? And then I pin it in the chat, and it'll say like 50 left. It'll say like $10. It'll be striked out, and it'll have a timer counting down, and it's like $5. And it's like very, very exciting. And it's incredibly fun. And inventory, the velocity at which you're like the velocity that it unlocks is insane. So look out for that, chat. I'm very, very excited about this feature for 2025. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how sellers kind of like use it, right? And that's been our experience. Like we'll release features, Brooke, and then we're always amazed kind of like at Whatnot at how creative our sellers get, or our buyers. Like it depends who the feature is for. And like they always like use it in ways that we couldn't have even like dreamt of. And so we're really excited about this one to see how you all embrace it and make it really great for you. So what about you? Also, you're big on raids, right? You
Yeah.
raided. Yeah. What's that? How does that play into your, I guess, strategy?
Yeah, it's like I don't end a stream without rating now. It's a fun part, and the audience all, I know a lot of sellers do this, drop we well, the night crew knows we don't drop emojis when we raid. We drop blink chat. So but I think it just is also a fun, and it's always fun when you raid into
They're
a person
doing it
who
now, Brooke. What
also
have you done?
I don't know. Don't ban them. They're not
No,
trolling.
they're good. They're not spamming. I get it. Even Avery's in on it. Charmed is in on it. Everyone's in on it. I'm the only one that doesn't know about this. I feel like such an outsider.
Hello.
I want to be cool too, though.
It's the secret is you press space and then enter. I don't know which of the night crew people figured it out first.
Here
It
we go. I'm
wasn't
gonna
me,
try
but
space and enter. There we go. That's so cool. So that's your thing. I love that. Again, this is like a really good insight, chat, on like personal branding, right? It could be really simple, right? It could be like, hey, chat, I'm gonna raid into Brooke. Everyone show up and do like I don't know, a crown emoji, or like use an emoji like as part of your brand, or the lack of anything, for example, here, which is also very cool. But yeah, very, very cool. Love it, love it. You also tell me what you think about Rewards Club. I know that you've been enjoying that. Has that been pretty good for you?
yeah, Rewards Club is really good. I it just depends on what you want to do for your business. I always think it's amazing to reward your customers and your longtime buyers and stuff. And so being able to streamline that and have it, automatically keep track of all their purchases is really nice and give them rewards. And so yeah, I've been really enjoying that, and the new custom tier badges are a lot of fun.
Yeah, they are. They're really, really fun. What are yours? Remind me. What are your
Night
tiers?
Crew, they're all inside jokes from streams. It's Night Crew, Haichu Lover, and Creaky Chair or something, and then and then ASMR Pro and VIP. They're super random, but if you've been in any of
If
the
you know,
shows,
you know. Like if you've earned that tier, you probably know what they're about.
yeah.
That's very cool. I love it. I love it. Here's what I feel like you're super, super humble, and this might be challenging for you to answer, but what do you think, makes you stand out amongst other sellers in your category? Obviously, you have this very chill, personality, very, very inviting, very warm, very relaxing. I think that's obvious to anyone who tunes in, but is there anything else that you think, makes you stand out or differentiates you from other sellers?
I At first I really tried to do, because when you first join, you see everybody doing really similar stuff with the auctions, and so I think I just made it kind of it's still, something I think about all the time is how can you set yourself apart and make your shows a little different. So I think doing the, like, when they got the community category, that was my like biggest excitement of the year, because I was embarrassed doing my community shows in the women's contemporary, and I was worried that they wouldn't, be very happy with that. But I think having those, and I'm not the only one who does behind the scenes shows and relaxing ones, but I've really enjoyed that, and I think it's created a special experience for my viewers.
I love that. And the chat is like basically, in other words, saying what you just said about you, which is very cool. And thank you so much, Gumby Claus, for the community boost. What are your top 3 goals for 2025? And I'm not talking like dollars and cents. Like, do you have any like personal growth goals and anything that you could share with us? Anything that you're kind of looking at and saying, I can get that if I really, apply myself?
Yeah, I think I probably will end up hiring a shipper this year. I think that's probably my biggest. I think that would help ease a lot of the stress with the job. So that's definitely my goal for 2025. And I also, um, it sounds silly, but I would love to find a way, and maybe with flash sales and having high quantity items in the buy it now, I would love to make the community shows, more on focus than my, and that seems like, oh, she just doesn't want to sell, but I think I could get creative and sell, more from maybe flash sales and buy it now, and still have those fun shows that are, more entertaining.
I
So that's
honestly
my
think
focus.
I think that's a great idea. How do you marry the two, right? Like, how do you,
Yeah.
and just thinking out loud with you again, I tuned into that quesadilla and I thought it was really interesting. In my mind, it's like, imagine if you had it in the bin, like all the ingredients, right?
Yeah.
Because they're all like nothing there, you couldn't ship. It was like chicken, it was like canned chicken,
Yeah, the
maybe
food.
all yeah. So there was like all this stuff, but imagine like where your community show, like there's an element where you could buy the thing that you're kind of chilling talking about or whatever it is. um
No, I
that's
like
really cool.
that.
I love that.
That's
And
great
yeah,
advice.
I think you can pull it off, and I look forward to seeing it in 2025.
Thank
um
you.
that sounds like a lot of fun and very clever. um okay, where do you hope to see your Whatnot business in 1 year from now? So at the
Uh,
end of 2025.
I would say, obviously sales goals are always, gross sales is always better. But I think hiring a shipper so I can, make more sales, and then also incorporating that fun. I want to be smiling at the end of the next year. I want to be I don't want to ever lose that community feeling that I have in my shows. And so I think holding on to those important factors, I'm confident that through the year, by the end of next year, it will be just as good, if not better.
I love it, Brooke. I love that so much. I mean, she goes, I want to be smiling at the end of next year. I think that's a really good goal for every single one of us. I also want that for myself. And I love that that's where your head's at. And it's not strictly about like a follower account or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like it's much bigger than that. So love that answer. Um, let's see. So you kind of touched upon this. I want to talk about scaling the operation, right? you've been one person doing it all, sourcing, selling, shipping, customer service, social media. Like it's a lot. You mentioned your next move will probably be in the form of a shipper. Is that where you find that you'd probably, congrats Cat D33 on the giveaway. Is that where you find you'd get the most, like is that where you're really limited right now in terms of like your efficiencies?
Yeah, I think that a shipper is most important. I think depending on your brand on here, you know, this is a big, I think, decision you make as a streamer. There's a lot of companies that do really well on here where they have multiple streamers. But I think when you run it solely and build it up as your brand, as yourself, um, it's important to be that streamer still. So I'll probably still be the sole streamer, and then just try to do any, behind the scenes stuff to hire for help. Because I think it's important to stay authentic and true to your brand. You really keep the same feeling in your shows. And so I want to expand, but I want to do it the right way and not change too much of the actual show.
Awesome. And you're still planning to be doing it out of your house, I guess? You don't have a warehouse, right?
Yeah, a lot of people might think that's the next step, but I actually, with my situation, I think it's most convenient to have it at home.
Totally makes sense. Yeah. Um, do your kids ever kind of say, "Hey, mom, what'd you get in the bail? Like, can I pick through that?"
Oh yeah, they always get first dibs on everything. That's why everyone's like, "Do you sell any girls' clothes?" I'm like, "Probably not, because my kids take all of it out as soon as I get the pallet."
I guess that's the silver lining for them, That would be
Yeah.
fun as a kid to kind of dig through a big old
Oh yeah, it's
pallet.
Christmas all the time for them.
Right. That's cool. That's cool. So shipper, yeah, that makes sense. I think that's what a lot of sellers that are like looking to scale, I feel like that's where, you know, um, it's tough, right? The packaging, it's time consuming, really, and the final, like, there's really only so much you could do to speed it up, right? Like,
Yeah.
you gotta still package it. Like, the thing has to get packaged, and in a way that's right and good and like quality. And if you're doing like thousands of orders, that's just so much. It's just like it's just a lot of work. So I think that's probably a very wise move on your part. Have you thought about, like, when you go to find this shipper person, are you looking at friends and family? How are you thinking about maybe finding this person?
I'm gonna start doing exactly what a couple friends in my chat suggested. They said they found employees from their local neighborhood page, and I think that's a really good place to start. Somebody nearby.
Awesome. Love it. Okay. Is there anything Whatnot can do to help you figure your goals out? Like, to help here with anything, or is there any feedback you have for us? How can we help you achieve, your goals?
I think, I think the events, I think shows like this, I don't know if I'm speaking for myself or everybody, but just feeling, heard anytime there's feedback, and changes are going to happen because it's a newer app, but I think Whatnot does really well is, as long as you guys always listen to that feedback and take it into consideration, I think it gives us a lot more motivation as sellers that we're important to the community and we're being heard on our opinions and everything. But I think you guys have all done a really good job at that.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, we try to make that a point. And it's so funny, when I asked you what we can do, a lot of people are like, help her, like, go ship with her. So
Oh
I
yeah,
guess I'll be
that too.
coming out.
That would
I
be
guess I'll
good
be
too.
coming out to Utah to ship some packages, Brooke. Uh, that's funny. What if you could tell, I'm imagining there's some newer sellers in the chat, or sellers that maybe haven't found their groove here. If you could give like one piece of advice, what would that be?
I always tell people it's being yourself, because the more I feel like myself, the better my shows do. And that seems weird, but it's very hard to get to that point when you're a streamer, because it's nerve-wracking, especially for the first little bit. And also, just the numbers on here is so exhausting. I think a lot of the focus is viewer count and everything, but focusing on if you only have a couple people in your room, if you give attention and the same amount of energy you would to a bigger crowd, those people are going to keep coming back. And so it's important to not look at what you don't have on the app when you first start, and more focus on the people that are giving you the time of day to come and show up and really put your energy into them.
Everyone's doing that thing again in the chat. I guess that means that, like, they're like saying you're dropping bars or something. I love it. I love it. I think they're all in like heated agreement with all that. Um, don't focus so much on what you don't have. Focus on what you do have. Isn't that's pretty much good life advice as well, I'd say. I feel like my life is always better when I look at it through that lens, you know?
Yeah,
Okay, awesome. Let's see. We got a couple questions from the chat. Let's pause here. Let's put up another giveaway chat. We've got these really awesome apothecary socks. Whatnot branded. Oh, let me get them in the frame. There they are. You see them? Yeah, they're cool. They're super comfortable, like super, super comfy. So yeah, good luck on that. Let's Brooke, if you're good, hey West Coast, if you're good, can we go ahead and I'll start serving some questions from the chat that we got here.
sure. Yeah.
Okay. And two things for the chat before we do that. If you have a question for Brooke about her experience, please drop it in the chat. We could still take a few more. Also, all feedback that you put in the chat, even if it's not related to Brooke, we do take it very seriously. Like Brooke was saying, that's one of the things that she sees that we do well is like listen to the customer. And this is another place where we take feedback and we take it and then we go through it and we share it with the respective team members, whoever it makes sense to share it with. So yeah, anything goes and everything's appreciated. So with that, okay, Joey Nebros is saying, what's the best way to build your inventory if you're brand new and don't have any connections? It's a great question.
That's how I started out too. I didn't get into pallets for a few months, and that took a lot of research online and looking locally. But I started with inventory that I had built up from the Goodwill bins. And so I started with thrifted clothing. And so if you don't have a lot of money, I know a lot of people will dive in and buy truckloads and stuff, but I've never been able to do that. And so I started, I started with little hauls from the Goodwill bins. You can get clothing by the pound there, and you just search for the best brands, do a lot of research on what's trending, and you can build from that. And then I just started really searching locally for liquidation pallets, and now I sell new with tags. But I think either business model can perform on here.
I love that. And yeah, I mean, sourcing is obviously like, a top question we get. And it's one of those things, Chad, that, and I think, Brooke, you could agree with me and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. It takes also time. It's not like it's networking, going to trade shows, getting your name out there with different people and slowly building up that kind of network where then you could get, pallets and things like that. But I don't think that happens overnight, just the same way that you don't wake up with, 100,000 followers on Whatnot. Like all these things, they take work. That's why it's Brooke's job. It's like a full-time job. And yeah, would you say that that's true? And I think you could source on Marketplace. You could source, like Brooke said, by the pound at Goodwill. Start somewhere, and also maybe make connections with other sellers here. I think that's probably always a good move. Any other tips? Does that track with
I
you?
haven't had inventory this week because I'm, until after the holiday. And so I dug into my old tech that was in my storage room. You can start with stuff at your house, even just get started, because people are going to show up for you if they like you as a seller. I can tell you my audience knows when I've had no inventory and they still show up and we have a blast, with whatever I can find.
I love it. So even Brooke, sometimes doesn't have the heat, and it's okay. She keeps going live. And last night, for example, she was running like old tech, and it was actually kind of fun to see what she was gonna pull. Like I almost bid, by the way, on that thermal printer. I thought that was pretty cool, that little one. I was like, what do I need that for? I don't even need that. All right, low cost loot is asking, what style do you run your shows in? And I think they're asking like what format, and auctions, is it sudden death, is it dollar start, that sort of thing.
So I used to do dollar starts, and they actually work very well as a strategy for some people. And so I've never been against them, but personally, since I slowed down on the volume that I used to do, I stopped them and I start a little bit higher. Even if it's a clear out, I still try to start at like $3 to $5 just to make sure I'm not ever shipping something for $1. And then I also found that that's why I love the buy it now so much. It is almost half my sales every show. If you throw a few little things in there, people love to add onto their orders. So always having stuff available, and that has really helped too.
Love it. Thank you. Posh Pim, what is your favorite part about Whatnot?
It's the community, and that's the cheesiest answer, but it's true. I don't think I'd still be. I think that's what makes this the reselling platform that is more fun, is the interaction and the the friends you build on here. That's what makes it a separate experience from just listing your items and nothing in front of the camera or hanging out with people. And that's what makes it unique, and I love it.
Couldn't agree with you more. Yeah, I think what makes it so much fun is that there's a level beyond the transaction.
Hmm.
There's a deep human connection that goes much deeper than any transaction. So like that's just a lot of fun when it comes to shopping. Like
Yeah.
it's usually not the case, right? Like usually you get like, when I shop, say for something, it's usually this is how it goes. I open Amazon, I search the thing, I click, buy, and I'm done. And then there's like no emotion, there's no friendship, there's like none of that.
Mhm.
And then here on Whatnot, it's just like, totally totally different. You get to really get to know people, find people that are like-minded, and it's just a lot of fun. Miss Pura Vida is saying, do you ever feel you're at the point to hire someone? We covered that. Thank you for the question, Miss Pura Vida. Also, Miss Pura Vida, I saw in the chat that you wrote down that you're taking a bunch of notes. I love that, but also know that you'll be able to watch this on past shows on Whatnot Sellers. So if you missed something, you want to go back and watch it again, you can always do that. And basically, the last question we've got here for you, Brooke. By the way, Brooke, you've done incredibly well. I know I'm throwing a lot at you. You're handling it like a champ. Cement slabs, how to avoid stress of negative peeps when you're starting out. I think this is a really great question, and I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Uh, that is the natural. I think a lot of us get overwhelmed with it because reselling in itself is already a stressful job, and with every task you have to do, and then on top of that, you're dealing with the streamer side of it, which also is a job in itself. And so you're going to interact with a lot of strangers every single day. I still get trolls, I still get, you're going to get a weird message every once in a while that makes you uncomfortable or not happy, somebody who's not happy with you. And you just have to remember that is, you're on here for business, and that is such a small percentage. I can tell you, I've been on here almost 3 years now, and those, like, comparison to all the amazing people on here and the good people you'll have in your streams, you just have to let it go. Don't let it consume you. If something bad does happen, let it go, move on, block them, remove them if you need to, but don't spend any more time or energy on the people who don't deserve it.
I love that, and I think it's really good advice. Anywhere you're in the internet, you're gonna inevitably get some trolls and stuff. But Brooke, I've really enjoyed this conversation. My 2025 New Year's resolution is to be as calm and chill as you are. I think that would be a good look for me. But thank you. You're an amazing member of the Whatnot community, and just an awesome human being. And so I'm really, really grateful that we got a chance to sit down with you right around the holidays. I know it's a busy time for you. And yeah, Chad, if you're not following Shop801lane, oh, one question I got to ask you, and then we'll wrap, I promise.
No, you're good.
Shop801lane, where did you come up with that name? What's the story?
It was actually kind of a last minute decision. I had to renew my business license, and so when I first opened I used to sell boutique clothing at an expo before I was reselling online, and so it was Shop Navy Lane after my oldest daughter, and then I had two more kids at that point, and so I hurried and changed it to my area code when I had to renew my business license. So it was, and then it just kind of stuck. So it wasn't intentional in the beginning, but it worked out.
I love it. Yeah, it's good. It works very well. Amazing. And I would love to give you the opportunity to find somebody for us to raid. If you want to just have a look, see who's on, maybe a friend of yours, maybe a smaller seller who you think is doing
Yeah,
well. We usually try to raid smaller sellers, but it's up to you. I'll let you call it.
yeah. Let me look.
Yeah, and chat. Shout out also to Kiyomi, our beloved Kiyomi. She's been in the background modding the chat, pinning stuff, serving questions to me on the side. So shout out to Kiyomi.
Thank you to all the friends that joined too. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, much love to all of you. It's been a very, very nice chat. Very, very positive. We love that. That's really what we're trying to do here on the community team, is to build like a very safe and fun place for all of our users to kind of hang out and build relationships. So Should we do one more sock before we raid? Let's do a quick one. We're not going to let it run the full 5 minutes, but I've got it here in front of me, and they're really dope, and I want one of you to get them. So jump into this giveaway chat. We're going to pull it in like a second here. And the biggest shout out ever to Brooke. So thank you so much, Brooke.
Thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you a ton as well. You find anybody you see as a good candidate?
I just am looking in the Women's Contemporary with somebody with only a couple. Their name is Eva MMA14. Okay, I'm just looking at somebody who only has a couple people in their room.
And they're selling, they're doing the thing?
Yeah, there's a few people that have a few. So yeah, they look like they're selling.
Eva MMA14. I got it. All right, chat. Thank you so much, Brooke. Happy holidays, chat. Our next show will be in January. We've actually got Joe Hollywood and the Hodgepodge Place. If you know, you know. 2 awesome sellers. So make sure to bookmark those. And yeah, much love to all of you and happy holidays. Thanks, Brooke.
Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
A little bit stretchy. Yeah, because it had this elastic on the side, a little bit stretchy. Okay, there you go. Tell your story. Ooh, do a deer, a female deer, Ray, a drop golden sun. Ha 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 ha. Me and then I call myself for a longer way to run. Okay, there we go. Doing good. Tell your story. We are going to start running now. Let me see. It starts on 7. Woo! Grab it, 7. Running. Me and then I call myself for a longer way to run. $7. Don't miss your chance. Woo! I know you love my voice. It's horrible, but I still like it anyway. $7. Don't miss your chance. A high heel size. What did I say the size was? 8.5. High heel. There we go. Thank you. Woo! And gone. Okay. Here we go. What will this day be like? I wonder. What will my future be? I wonder. You see that? There we go. Woo!